How's it going, everybody? My name's Warner Fields with Fields of Profit. I'm a high six-figure full-time Amazon seller, and in today's video I'm going to be talking about why you're probably not making as much money in your Amazon business as you think you should be. We're going to be breaking down a specific tool called Keepa. I know a lot of you guys are familiar with this, but we're going to go ahead and dive into some exact products, show you whether or not I would buy this so that we can go ahead and avoid price tanking in the future. Because a very common complaint I hear with beginners who are starting out selling on Amazon is that they're saying everything I'm buying is tanking, everything I'm buying I'm no longer making money on. So this video should be a great guide for you to actually be sure you're making profit when you're going out and buying items to sell on Amazon. If you're brand new to the channel or you haven't already checked it out, if you want even more free resources to learn how to sell on Amazon, linked directly below me is going to be our free Amazon seller Discord community. Over 20,000 sellers in there sharing all kinds of free information. Would love to see you in there, but let's go ahead and jump into the video. So for this video, I've gone ahead and pulled up a couple examples of products. We're going to go ahead and start breaking this down. Just to start off the video, I will say that you absolutely need Keepa to do in any Amazon business of any kind. You absolutely need Keepa to do the things that we're going to be talking about to make sure that you're not buying items that are on price spikes. All these different things we'll talk about here in this video. You need this tool to be a successful Amazon seller. Otherwise, your profits will suffer. And if you're not willing to invest in a $20 tool, this tool is called Keepa. It's $20 a month. If you're not willing to invest in a tool like that, you're not cut out to be an Amazon seller. This is a business. So with that said, let's go ahead and jump into this real quickly. So right off the bat, for those of you who haven't seen a lot of Keepa, I'll just go ahead and show you what's going on here. This purple line here is the buy box line, and the buy box line essentially tracks the price that the item is actually selling for over time. So you can see right now, if we mouse over this line, it tells us that the buy box is at $41. And so this button right here that says add to cart is $41. That's all that means. That's the buy box. And then the green line here is the sales rank. Basically, anytime the green line drops is a sale, give or take. And so we can see almost exactly when these sales are happening on the Keepa chart here. So we're going to combine these two things together, and especially looking at the past history of this item, my team identified this product as potentially profitable. We were able to find it for $15.56. The sale price we had listed was $44.43, but let me show you why that's probably not a very accurate assumption of what the price is actually going to be on this item. And a very common mistake I see for beginners is that they're buying it on a price spike. So this item I would definitely say is on a price spike. You can see here the price that they went ahead and pulled was this buy box price up here, like the absolute most expensive it's been for the last 3 months is what we got it here. Let's zoom out to the year. Like it looks like right here is the only time it's ever been more expensive than it is right now. So that's really not a great sign that it's going to be a super long-term item for us. And especially we have to think about the fact that when we buy an item and send those items into Amazon FBA, it could take around a month by the time we make a decision to the time that it's fully in stock, ready to go out to the customer. It could be 3-4 weeks at least. So we have to make sure that these items are future-proof to some degree. If your items are not future-proof, that is what's causing the majority of your price tanking, and the majority of your price tanking is being caused by not reading this chart here correctly. Again, extremely important skill to be able to read these charts. So looking at this chart right here, I can very, very clearly see that this item, I should not treat it like a $43 item. Not saying that you can't ever buy items that are on a price spike, but you want to make sure you're happy with the prices that it should really belong at. So in this case, this item more consistently sells around the $30 to $31 mark. So let's go ahead and plug that in here. And we can see that if it returns to the $31 price point, SellerAmp's telling us that we're only going to make $2 in profit, 12% ROI. It turns a pretty good item into a pretty bad item really quick. And one other thing that I like to do on these items to make sure that my items are going to be a little bit more future proof. In this case, like I can eyeball this listing and know pretty much immediately, oh, this is on a price spike. I don't really want to buy this. But something I'll do pretty often is I'll go to SellerAmp and I'll click the 90-day average price for the buy box. And that actually just auto populates in the price calculator up here. And then it goes ahead and plugs in all that kind of information for us. And again, we can see on the 90-day average buy box price, it's really not meeting those ROI thresholds that we're looking for. So this item would be a definite pass for me. So lesson number one, never ever buy items that are on a price spike. You can use the Keepa chart, just kind of eyeball it, and you can also use the average buy box price points to kind of figure that out if it might be on a price spike or not. So let's go ahead and jump into the next item over here. This is an item that my team again identified as a potentially good lead, and I'm going to let you kind of decide if you want to play a little bit of a game with me. Let me know down in the comments whether or not you would buy this before I break this down or not. Just drop, yeah, I would buy that. No, I wouldn't. But looking at this price chart here, this one's a bit of a weird one, right? We can see how the buy box line kind of jumps all over the place. So we can see right now it's currently selling for $21.30, but it looks like if we had looked, I mean, even right now, like the time between when I last refreshed this page, the prices have changed a little bit. So right now the price is $25. We could buy it here for $21.30. So the buy box is really fluctuating around a lot. And this is something that you can definitely take advantage of. The way that we're going to do that is we're going to make sure that the sales are actually actually going to FBA sellers in this case. That's us. We want to be the ones who are shipping from Amazon's fulfillment centers to the customer. We can see that when the item's buy box price line goes down a little bit, bear with me on this. I know that we're getting a little bit more complicated here, but we can see how on the buy box price chart here, we can see how it says by third party FBM versus when it goes to the high prices, it says by third party FBA. So in this case, it looks like it's kind of evenly distributing the sales among FBA sellers and FBM sellers, but it's giving the FBM sellers all the lower pricing, and then FBA is getting the higher pricing, right? Because customers, you know, they want that 2-day prime shipping, and if they're not buying that FBA offer, they're not getting 2-day prime shipping. So the Amazon algorithm is a little bit confused here to even know what it wants to serve to the customers. But us being FBA sellers on this listing, we know that we can come in here and capture this higher price point. So I think we identified this for about 13 bucks would have been our cost here, and it looks like this item is selling for $24. If 13 bucks was our true cost here, I'm not really remembering off the top of my head what our true cost on this item was, but let's say it was 11 bucks. That means I'm a little bit more interested in this item because I know I can come on here and be the FBA seller who is selling this for 24, 25 bucks, and then letting those lower price sales distribute down to those FBM sellers. And this is something you'll see all the time happening with your offers, especially on higher volume stuff. It's actually kind of interesting that it's happening on an item with only 26 sales per month. This is something I see all the time on those faster selling listings where, you know, the FBA offers are selling out almost immediately, and then the FBM get a little bit of rotation, some more FBA offers check in, all that kind of stuff. But one other thing that kind of sticks out to me about this chart here, so we know we can sell this for about $24, $25, but something else I would be worried about here is the increase in new sellers on this item. So a little bit of a benchmark I like to do for my items is to compare the price to the last time there were the same amount of sellers. So just to kind of show you what I mean by that. So right now there are 11 sellers on this listing. Last time there were 11 sellers on this listing was January 11th, and the price was $21.40. So the price was significantly lower, and you can see zooming back out here, we can even go back here to last time there was 11 sellers, it was $21. So really, when there's 11 sellers on this listing and the supply is kind of increasing right here, you know, simple economics here, supply is increasing, and last time there was the same amount of supply, the price was way cheaper than it is right now. It was not selling for that $24 price point. So that adds an extra element of risk on this item. For my personal business, I would call this kind of a coin flip. Just if you've got a bunch of money laying around, you want to take a risk on a product, I might go ahead and buy this product. This month, we've had a pretty good excess of capital, fortunately, that we've been able to spend on a bunch of riskier type items. So this month, I would probably buy this item. On a month where I have a little bit less capital, I've got to be a little bit more conservative with my decision making, I probably wouldn't buy this item. So there's not always a black and white, yes, this item's great, or no, this item's horrible. There's a lot of factors that go into it, especially when we're looking at this Keepa chart here. So moving on to the next item here, trying to give you guys as much value as possible. So this item right here, this item I would call a much better example of just more immediate yes. This product we were buying for $1.60, I remember that. And it looks like if we look down here on the buy box price chart, we can see that this item more consistently sells for about $8. So plugging all that into our profit calculator here, it looks like we're making 167% ROI, only $2.68 profit, but with that ROI, definitely worth going through the extra effort of selling this lower dollar profit item just because the ROI is so high, especially for you new sellers who might not have a lot of capital. Going for these really high ROI listings can be a great way to grow your money a lot faster than the more expensive stuff that might have a little bit lower ROI, that's more catered towards people who want to just do volume and spend as much money as possible. If you're just starting out, this is honestly a perfect example of a beginner product because we can see when we're looking at this Keepa price chart here, how stable the price is. We can see it looks like back here in March, the price dropped below that $8 price point for maybe a week or so, maybe 2 weeks. But zooming out here on the year, like even right now, it's pretty much as cheap as it's going to get. Looks like back here it was a little bit cheaper, but you know, that's like 10 months ago or so. Zooming out here even further, it looks like it's always been selling for even more than it is now. Honestly, kind of crazy that people were paying, you know, 13 bucks for a little kid's toothbrush, but you know, fine by me. I'm perfectly content to sell these items, continue to make money selling these items. But you can see I really like the level of stability on this item. There's no massive increase in new sellers. There's no massive decreases in price anywhere. And we can see that this price is fairly realistic given the number of new sellers. So right now there's 11 sellers on this listing. Last time there was 11 sellers was, you know, even around here, there was a little bit more than 11 sellers. The price was slightly lower. So everything seems to be checking out on this Keepa chart to make sense for it to not be kind of tanking. And we can see back here in March, let's say you were looking at this item right here, back here in February, where this item was, you know, decently profitable. We were going to be able to sell this for $8.50, $9. Let's say we're looking at this on February 28th earlier this year. This seems like a decent item, except the new sellers is massively increasing and the price has not yet responded to that. But if we go ahead and look at the up-to-date version of this, the number of new sellers has definitely kind of priced in with the buy box here. So I'm not expecting nearly nearly as much price movement on this item. So I would consider this a much safer item. And for this last example here, I want to do just very quickly show you an example of an immediate red flag. Immediately click out of the listing. Don't even consider it. If your Keepa chart looks like this on an item you're considering buying, run very far away. Never touch this item, because we can see how fast the number of new sellers has been increasing. I've got it zoomed out. This is what it looks like now, but just for a little bit of a thought experiment, went ahead and pulled it up to this. If you see a Keepa chart that looks like this, let's say it's March 18th, we're sourcing this item. Even if we're buying it for, I think we were going to be able to buy this item for $8. Looks like it would have been a pretty decent item, like 77% ROI, $6.14 profit. But again, we have to consider the thing I was talking about at the beginning of this video. Can this item survive 3 to 4 weeks where I'm not going to be selling this item, where the items are shifting around, where the prep work's getting done, where it's going from FC to FC? Probably not. I don't think the profitability of this item is going to last more than another week tops. And if you zoom out here to the up-to-date version, you can see pretty much immediately right after that, the price went way down. Number of new sellers went way up. Not enough people read into this as a red flag, and so a bunch of people are going to end up losing money on this item. I think this is about an $8 item selling for like 14 bucks now. So everyone's getting their money back. It's not always fortunate enough to get your money back, but certainly no one's making a profit on this item anymore. But just a very quick lesson. If you see this pattern on your Keepa chart, run very far away. This is the most common pattern you'll be able to see on a lot of items, and also one of the easiest patterns to recognize for you beginners out there. So this pattern right here, especially, this will lead you to price tanking. It will lead you to lose money that you did not want to lose. So run very far away from this pattern. So I don't talk about this very often on the main channel videos, but I just wanted to let you know, if you're someone who wants to get even more in-depth information to learn how to sell on Amazon, there's a lot of examples like this, breaking down red flags, looking for things that are going to help save you a ton of money moving into your Amazon business. We have a bunch of that information within the FBA roadmap. Just wanted to mention that for you guys who want to invest in shortening your learning curve, avoiding expensive mistakes, that any of these items in this video could have caused expensive mistakes. We do talk about all kinds of in-depth ways to avoid losing money within your Amazon business in the FBA roadmap. So that'll be linked down below if you guys are interested in that. Tons of value in there. We've seen many people have crazy amounts of success in the FBA roadmap. So let me know if you have any questions about that down below in the video. But if you guys got any value out of this video, please feel free to add some value to my business and hit that subscribe button down below. If you have any questions, comments, anything like that, feel free to drop that down below as well. But I really appreciate you guys watching, and I will see you next time.